Hey everybody, it's Triple Out. Now let's talk Shokugeki no Soma or Food Wars Chapter 235. So, it's pretty much, I think, a very simple chapter, just because this is the exposition chapter for Aizen, and then we end off the chapter with Takumi being confident about his pizza. Which, might say something about the thematics of the chapter, but because it is also a good portion of flavor testing, it ends up being a really simple chapter to talk about. Now, some concerns were pretty much, I guess, answered with this, because now we know that Aizen did his absolute best with the whole mastery of artichokes. And really, this does speak a lot towards Aizen's skills. I think this is just overall a good showing for the guy. Now, since Ishiki came into the chapter and he told us that this is something that Aizen's been doing throughout his whole, high school career, this is his business model. He pretty much deals with ingredients that mess with the consumer's reactions, or sorry, not reactions, but their flavor receptors. I think it's fair to say that this is Aizen probably at his best. So, I like that, because this was a concern that I had for the previous videos. This was a concern I had in the previous chapters. So, seeing that this is pretty much Aizen's battleground, that he deals in ingredients or chemicals that mess with your tongue, I'm happy, because it means that this is Takumi's time to really shine against the opponent. Now, when you look at the thematics of what Aizen was trying to do to Takumi, if Takumi has made something that is different than what Aizen expected, then this is playing up that angle of Takumi being able to make the unexpected. If it was up against Subaru, this would have been an issue where maybe Subaru would not have been able to trace it. But that's kind of wishy-washy kind of assumption. What's going on here is that Aizen made an assumption about what Takumi was making, and it seems that Takumi was able to pull one over on him, since at the end of the chapter, we have people kind of wondering what that pizza's about. So I'm really excited for Takumi here, and that last panel of him looking at his creation, he looks really happy, and I think Takumi's gotten some really nice shots for, the last couple chapters that he's been in. I really like these shots we get for Takumi. I like seeing him confident and not just chasing after Soma. So, very excited. Again, I'm very excited about Aizen too. I think this is totally respectable, though this is just a mastery of ingredients. And through the Aizen flashback, we also get some kind of justification as to why Azami likes Aizen in particular, and there was one quality that Ishiki touched on, that Aizen doesn't act for his personal gain and that's kind of interesting. Yeah, you could kind of see that. Well, I don't know. He's acting for the sake of his business, right? But then again, it might be a kind of thing where it's he doesn't necessarily try to win because he wants to win. It's more because he wants to screw people over. So I guess in a way, yeah, I could see that. Or maybe because he wants businesses to succeed, because then they'll use his services more. I don't know. It's kind of. Do you guys think he acts for his personal gain? Because him going up against Takumi, he isn't messing with Takumi out of personal gain to him. He's messing with him because it's a pretty shitty guy. But yeah, no, it's an interesting thing that he doesn't try to win for his own personal gain, because I think if you trace it back far enough, you could find that motivation in there, unless you replace the motivation with just him wanting to see people crumble, and at that point it really isn't a personal gain, I guess. Regardless, it is cool to see the trick that Aizen is playing here, and it makes his title of Alchemist seem a lot more relevant. It makes it seem a lot more relevant. Pretty cool. Now, the chapter also gives us the reaction shots. We get the reaction shot from Soma. We get the reaction shot from Anne. Both reaction shots with Anne's are pretty nice to look at. They're pretty nice to look at. And overall, we don't really know how great this thing is until we have it compared to another dish. Aizen has set up the table, made it really hard for Takumi, or at least that's what he was planning to. He was going to edge the odds into his favor. But Takumi now has that opportunity here. It seems that he was able to pull one over on Aizen. Let's see, because that's pretty much the majority of the chapter. There's not really much else of interest that I could find here. I guess if we go back and talk about the mechanism that was going on here, Cinerine, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not too sure. chemical names are always kind of hard to pronounce because you don't know exactly how much Latin influence is coming into them. Anyway, that chemical in general, I think that's a cool thing. Like Food Wars usually has a chef who is consulting with the authors to like make these dishes. Man, if that's like actually how it works, that is cool. That it creates a little layer of film over your tongue, and that's what's blocking the receptors. That's some pretty cool stuff, man. Now, there was Soma who tried that, and I wonder if Soma's palate is right now compromised. Hopefully he isn't making anything that relies on sweet, because he's gonna have to like kind of try to wash that out or chew that out of his mouth, but hopefully that little thing hasn't messed with Soma's tongue, and it's, it probably isn't going to mess with us for the next couple of chapters. Like, Soma could probably just chew some gum and get rid of it. But it's a cool effect. If Aizen has a mastery of these kind of ingredients, like, man, no wonder he's at number 9. Anyway, that's pretty much the majority of the chapter. I mean, we get the flashback, we get the tasting, we get the explanation. There's not really much beyond that other than Aizen's characterization during the flashback, but it's all things that we know. He's skilled and he's scummy. Like, nothing's changed. So guys, let me know if you think there was anything else that was worth talking about in this chapter that I might have missed. If there was, I'll talk about it in the comments down below. It's a very simple chapter. Again, it's Aizen bringing out his food, the explanation of the ingredient, and the people thinking it's great, and then the flashback to explain why Azami likes it, or why Azami likes him. Overall, pretty simple chapter. I'm pretty excited for next week. I want to see how Takumi is going to turn this over. But yeah, guys, let me know down below what you thought, and let's leave it there. Till next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.